Enterprises. Anime.
How's it going, everybody? Ragiroth Enterprises here. So looky what I got to play. I actually got a code to play the closed beta of Jump Force. If you noticed, there was a New York Comic Con video. I had a little surprise announcement at the end with that because I literally got it in the mail, or got it emailed to me when I think I was recording that video. But anyway, yeah, I was pretty happy to get it. It was pretty cool. So I just want to talk about some of my experiences with it, I guess, in the game in general, and the online, of course, because all there really was in the beta. So I guess first of all, I'm kind of gonna talk about this sort of like how I did the Soul Calibur 6 beta. I did think it was cool that you could fight the computer player, just so you can at least have some kind of practice. I mean, it honestly didn't do me too much good, because it's like, you can't control, you still can't make it so the AI just kind of stands there, so they're just constantly attacking you. So it's, I mean, it let me get a feel of things, but it wasn't like having like a practice mode, but it was better than nothing. Secondly, it was incredibly easy finding a opponent. Like, I don't think I've ever had a beta period that was so easy finding an opponent. They knocked it out of the park there. I mean, I don't know. Granted, I didn't get on till I think later on the first day, but I mean, I couldn't see it being that much worse beforehand. It was super smooth getting that, so definitely props there. I guess because a lot of people were playing this. I am somewhat surprised with how popular this game is, because I feel like usually anime games, unless it's like just Dragon Ball or kind of a 2D competitive fighter like Dragon Ball, how popular this is. Clearly, as I've learned after going to New York Comic Con. And I was fairly happy with the character selection. I would have been nice if Shinryu, I think I'm saying his name right, was in there. I mean, I know him and Saint Seiya were just announced, but Saint Seiya was in there. But I guess Seiya is probably a little more complete, and him playing as him isn't as big of a deal, because we had him in J-Stars. Would have liked Aizen and like maybe Killua too, or like Sanji at least, but whatever, having Yusuke and Toguro was kind of a nice surprise with how kind of late they were announced, and I guess we don't kind of want all the surprises spoiled before launch, so I was fairly happy with the character selection. Unfortunately, I can't say that I got my ass kicked a lot more in this one than I did the Soul Calibur 6 one. Soul Calibur 6 one I actually did really good. This one I was having such a hard time winning. It was sort of the opposite in a way, because there were a lot of matches that were really close, just barely lost. That's not the whole thing. I mean, I guess it did, compared to Soul Calibur 6 beta, I guess that maybe sullied some of my enjoyment, but that's mostly just because it's like, I mean, in Soul Calibur 6, I know what I'm doing more. I've played more Soul Calibur games. Jump Forces in a game is common, and it has a little bit more different mechanics. I mean, like, yeah, it's kind of like Burning Blood, it's kind of like J-Stars, but it's different. I think overall it plays a lot better than J-Stars, and this is coming from someone that actually liked J-Stars, so it's not to say like, oh, it plays better than something I dislike. No, I actually did enjoy J-Stars, but this game's a lot faster. I feel like they're not quite as stiff. I like how the special attacks are done more. I feel like the movesets are a bit more balanced, because I feel like some characters were just missing attack types that the other characters, that some other characters did have in J-Stars, which kind of sucked, but I feel like this one, for the most part, everyone is a little more balanced in that regard. Like, yeah, the general things I was pretty happy with. The only two things I didn't really like was I kind of wish, and this could very well be coming in the future, I just kind of wish there was maybe like some kind of actual alternate color, or better yet, even costume for the characters, because there was a lot of mirror matches, and it kind of just sucks that, both characters look exactly the same. Like, even Smash Brothers has a thing where it's like, if you pick the same color, you'll be at least shaded slightly differently. But yeah, that was kind of a bummer. I hope they have alternate colors or costumes or something. I know J-Stars had none of that. I think that was kind of ridiculous. I think this time they really should have something. I mean, there's so many different outfits these characters have worn. I mean, for the most part, I think it's silly, to not have when we have mirror matches. Secondly, I kind of wish you could change the order. Because to change characters, you hold, you press, I think, L2, or I guess left trigger. The thing is, you can only change to the character that's next in line. You can't do it like kind of the character that's, I guess, behind you, if you get what I'm saying. And that's a little frustrating, because it's like Marvel vs. Capcom and like Fighters, you could pick which character you want to switch to, but it's in this game you're kind of stuck switching to like whoever's next in line. Like, say if I did like Gon, Frieza, and like Toguro, if I start with Gon, I can only switch to Frieza and then Toguro. I can't do Gon, then to Goro. I mean, unless maybe there was a way there was a way to figure that out. I didn't know how to do that. If there was, please tell me, because I will feel silly, and at least I can take that off as, I guess, complaints in the future. And I guess there was, like, some jankiness to the game. I couldn't tell if that was the online or not. The game does sort of look, I feel like, that is probably one of the flaws I can find with it when I see it in motion. It does look kind of janky, like it's fast, but it's like, I don't know how to explain it. But it definitely wasn't that bad. I feel like they have improved it a bit. I mean, the game looks, in my opinion, looks freaking gorgeous. I love how it looks. And I do kind of wish, like, the stages weren't just kind of flat fields. I mean, I know they probably did this for balance purposes, but I don't know. I think it is. It could have thrown in a little more in that, I think. Maybe they didn't have to go crazy like J-Stars did, but I think they could have a little bit more variety there. I mean, we haven't seen every stage yet, but it's like every stage we've seen so far is basically that. As for lag, I mean, there was, like, I think a couple matches I had where there was lag, but it wasn't much. I mean, again, like, maybe I couldn't tell because the game, I guess there was some input, there was more input lag, but it wasn't like slowdown type of lag. The only thing I did notice that was kind of annoying is at the start of the second match, sometimes my character would do something that was out of my control. Like, if I wasn't pressing anything, my character would, like, run around a bit or, like, block, and it's weird. That I think needs to be fixed. I mean, it's not a huge deal. It's just kind of like, you know, it's a little disorienting, and I think it did, like, allow my opponent to kind of get a couple shots in on me when I was trying to fix myself. So now I'm going to talk about a few characters I play. I'm not going to talk about everybody. I'm going to talk about a few of them. First, I have to start off with my boy Yusuke. For those that don't know, Yu Yu Hakusho is actually my favorite anime ever. So, of course, you know, anything in Yu Yu Hakusho we really don't get to see around that much anymore. So anything with Yu Yu Hakusho is a big deal. I'm praying that Kurama and Hiei are in, at least one of them, more so Hiei, but I do hope that if Hunter x Hunter got, you know, I guess the 4 boys, I guess they're the 3 boys and the villain, I'm hoping Yu Yu Hakusho gets the same treatment too, especially because that actually had more playable characters in J-Stars than Hunter did. But anyways, no, Yusuke was a character I used very frequently. I partially like how he plays more, but I partially don't. I really don't like that he doesn't have the spirit shotgun anymore. At least I couldn't figure out how to do it. I think that kind of sucks. I mean, it wasn't like his greatest move, but it's a really cool move. It was effective, and it's kind of a move he's known for doing, and it sucks he can't do that. I do like his one new move called, I think it's called a organ murder or something like that. You know, it's a hard move to hit with, but I guess that's more of a move you have to kind of combo into where he kind of headbutts you, and then there's like the rapid punches, and then just knocks you away. The spirit gun I don't like as much how the spirit gun functions now. It feels just way too strict and restrictive. Like, yeah, you can still kind of dodge to the side and shoot it, but it just, I don't know. I feel like there's almost no point in charging it now. It's just kind of, you know, it's better to just kind of shoot it off, and then as soon as you do it, or the opponent's just going to see through it. I get maybe, like, running around with it is maybe it was a little too overpowered in J-Stars. I guess I understand that. At the very least, you should be able to do it in the air. I don't like that he can't do it in the air. And I really hope he still has his demon form. That was actually confirmed that awakenings or certain awakenings were not in the beta, so that could very well still be in the game. I'm a little worried, though. They're trying to be more accurate, so I guess what time period the character was taken from. I'm a little worried that maybe like, oh, you know, no Demon Yusuke, because, you know, we're doing Dark Tournament again for some silly reason, even though that's the best arc, but that's still dumb, in my opinion. But overall, I still like playing as Yusuke. I think he is a bit less flexible, if that's a term. But yeah, I guess moving on to the next one. So another character I found myself using a lot was Blackbeard. I'm not a huge One Piece fan, but it's like, I love the characters they chose from One Piece. I have a weird relationship with One Piece, where it's like, I don't really watch the show or read the manga, but it's like, I enjoy some of the games and stuff and playing as some of the characters. Even though I'm really not a huge Luffy fan at all, I really actually like every other character they've chosen. I love Zoro. I love Sanji. I like Sabo, even though I'm more of an Ace fan. I totally understand why they chose Sabo, and I guess he's more relevant than Ace. And Blackbeard's probably one of my favorite villains, if not my favorite. But he was actually probably one of my most favorite characters to play as. I mean, he's really slow, but his special attacks are just awesome. Probably, I guess, a decent zoner character. One of the few things I did have a hard time that does kind of annoy me playing with him is he's so damn big. Kind of blocks your view of your opponent. And that's a bit frustrating. I have to be like extra careful with him. That's like one thing I don't like when I'm playing as him. I don't know. I guess that's just one of his weird unorthodox flaws. But yeah, his special moves are great. Punch, I forget what it's called. Like if they're moved from Whitebeard. A little bit of, I guess, a brick wall effect. You know, where if they're hitting you and you're in the middle of doing it, you know, it's not gonna make you flinch or anything. It'll still do damage to you. And his 2 darkness ones are pretty good. You know, they're both kind of getting the opponent away from, or I guess bring them to you. And you know, his super is pretty easy to hit with. I don't know. I actually don't know if it's blockable, to be honest. But yeah, he's definitely a character I found myself using a lot. I don't know if he was considered overpowered or not. I know like Ichigo and like Rukia was, but I don't know. I think Blackbeard was pretty solid. So another character I actually really liked using was Hisoka. It's interesting because I was thinking about it, and Hisoka is actually, or Hisoka. I don't know how to say his name. I'm sorry, but it's interesting because he is actually the only character confirmed in this game that, as far as I know, him and Kurapika are the only characters that have never been playable in any other game, at least like a non-mobile game and I guess non-fighting game, or had never been playable in a fighting game. So I guess there was kind of an extra sort of special playing as him, because, you know, there's no other experience I've ever had with this character. I mean, obviously I've seen Hunter, but not actually playing as him. And I actually really had fun using him. I mean, he wasn't my top choice for a villain. That was Murium, but I understand why they picked Hisoka, and I think he was really cool to play as there were some matches I actually did really good with him. I guess he was just kind of like, he's fairly fast, and I think his specials are just kind of like, I feel like he's like a good mid-range character, and I like mid-range characters. I guess because you don't have to be too up close, you also don't have to try to stay too far away. It's just kind of that nice balance, for me personally at least, that I like. All of his moves were cool and really nice to look at too. I love that he uses the cards and stuff. It'd be funny if him and Yugi had some nice dialogue about that. But yeah, I do feel like, just in general, I really like him because he's mid-range. I mean, some matches I did find myself getting my ass kicked with him, but it was probably just because that person was just overall better anyway. But no, I think if you like mid-range characters, I think Hisoka is a pretty good choice. And I think I'll definitely be using a good bit. Though I'll still probably be using Killua out of the Hunter characters, as he's probably my favorite one. Though I am looking forward to using Kurapika too. Alright, now I'm going to talk about Ichigo. Ichigo, apparently, and most people agree, is maybe a little too overpowered. I really don't like calling characters overpowered, especially if they're characters I like, and when people want to just use them because they like the character. But he was pretty brutal to fight against. And I do feel like there were some matches when I would be getting my butt kicked, but like if I brought him out, I'd be doing like so much better, which was a bit strange to me. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just good with him, and a lot of people are just good with him. But no, I think he's just really fast, and I feel like he's just very easy to combo with. It doesn't help because he has a big ass sword. He's got good range. And unlike J-Stars, you don't have to worry about him killing himself with his super move. I think what also probably doesn't help is the fact he was one of the only characters in the beta, as far as I know at least, that could use his awakening. So I guess he had a little bit of an advantage here. Maybe if other characters had access to their awakening, he wouldn't feel as brutal to deal with. But no, he was, anyone that used him, or not anyone, but there were a lot of people that used him that like I had like almost no chance with. And I almost had to use him just to kind of have a shot. And I don't like having to do that. And it's a shame because I really like Ichigo and I really like Bleach. And of course, it has to be a character I really like that I don't get to play as much. And this is like the first and one of the only times we ever get to play as this version of him, this new version of him. It could always be changed. I mean, he could always be balanced. So, and again, this was just a beta. You know, we all had, you know, we don't have the full roster. So it's like there could be some characters that are really good at dealing with him that we couldn't play as. So, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. But no, overall, I did really like using Ichigo. I love his kind of new moveset. I mean, there's things I miss about pre-Thousand Year Blood War arc Ichigo, but you know, it is what it is. Then there was Rukia, who is also considered pretty brutal in the beta too. It seems like anyone with a sword, or at least these two and Zoro maybe. Rukia is definitely fast, probably faster than Ichigo, and I feel like her special moves were maybe, or at least one or two of them were like kind of more tricky, and I guess long range than Ichigo. But they were definitely kind of tricky to figure out how to get to work. I noticed this game, like, if you have your finger on any of the special move buttons after you press the special move, like, some moves they will not release until you let go of those moves. And I know I had to learn that with Rukia with her one move. I'm confused as a support character in J-Stars. I was a little disappointed you can't actually control her in the Bankai form, and I get it, like, yeah, in the manga, like, you know, she's literally in her Bankai for like a blink, so I guess I get it. It would have been nice if it took a little bit of liberty though. Maybe they will, I don't know, but as of now, you know. But she was definitely a character I found myself using a lot. I mean, I just wanted to kind of use the Bleach people because I really like Bleach, and you know, I don't get to use them much anymore. So now I'm going to talk about Frieza. Now, admittedly, I was kind of like, I don't know how much I want to use the DBZ characters because it's like, you know, DBZ's in like everything. It always gets games and stuff. Now, I do really like Frieza and Vegeta, so, you know, I've actually found myself using Frieza a lot. Frieza was really fun to play as. I feel like Frieza always tends to be a fun character to use, especially when like a more limited Dragon Ball roster. I feel like his regular attacks were like, you know, they weren't like amazing, but they were like just good enough. And his specials were pretty damn good too. Mainly the death. The other two were neat. The interesting thing with the death beam in this game is most games he kind of just like points and fires, but this game he kind of like holds it in and then kind of fires it very last minute. It's almost like a fake out attack in a way, and the accuracy on it is insane. But I guess if you miss, it kind of leaves you open. So that's kind of the trade-off for that. It does, I want to say it feels a little more accurate to the show in some ways, at least DBZ. Death Saucer is good. Is okay. I didn't find myself using it, hitting opponents with it too much. I guess the trick is it's just, you know, people just have to remember that the saucers come back, and you know, like in the show, Frieza can hurt himself with it. And then it's a shame because I really like his, you might die this time move. I always really like that move, the one he does to Goku. It was a little hard. I mean, well, once I figured out how it worked, I actually did find myself hitting with it a bit more. I always had to remember that some of the special moves cost more than others. And Death Ball was relatively easy to hit with. I feel like it comboed well. Alright, there's just a couple more characters I wanted to talk about. One was Zoro. Zoro is one of my favorite One Piece characters, and I was actually really happy he made it in this game. I did find myself doing really good with him. I actually may have found myself better with him than I was like Ichigo or maybe Rukia. He's also very fast, and I feel like has good range. And his specials are pretty effective as well. Like he has kind of a Getsuga Tensho kind of move that was like really easy to combo into. And his other moves were kind of tricky, but I still feel like I found myself hitting a good amount with him. It would have been nice if he had his Ashura move. Whatever it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, I think Zoro is maybe even better than Ichigo, or Rukia for that matter. And Helpy was probably one of the other characters I was like most forward to using. Of course, I think he was also considered maybe one of the more overpowered ones. But again, he could always be nerfed, and this was just a beta. You know, we're still getting used to things. But no, overall, I really like using Zoro. The last character I wanted to talk as was a character I didn't plan on using that much, but I actually wound up really liking him, was a younger Toguro. You know, I was a little disappointed younger Toguro made it as the villain for Yu Hakusho again, and not Sensui. I understand why. It's just like, oh, I just like Sensui and Yomi like so much more. It sucks his arc just has to be the damn best one, but anyway, no, I still like Toguro, and I still actually had a lot of fun using him. I think a lot more than I did in J-Stars. I just feel like his moves are just cooler, had more impact, and I feel like I was able to hit with them a lot better. Like, I feel like the finger flip bullets, like, yeah, their range wasn't the best, and it does kind of leave you open a bit if you don't do them right, but man, when they hit freaking hard. His other two moves were good too, especially the kind of the charging one. That one was freaking nasty. And then I really like for his super move, he actually goes in as 100% form. And it was a relatively easy move to hit with as well. I feel like the supers in this game are just a lot easier to hit with than in J-Stars in general. I mean, I do really hope he can just transform into that in the full game and not only doing the super. I'm a little tired of like all these cool transformations always getting restricted at supers, but you know, whatever. But no, I think I will definitely be using Toguro a little bit more in this than I was J-Stars. Granted, it also depends on, you know, how many other Yu Hakusho characters make it, because I might not be using. Yeah, I may have only been using him only because I'd accidentally get him and Yusuke. But overall, like, you know, I really like using him as well. He did have a little bit of the same problem that Blackbeard did, where he's so damn big, it kind of made it hard to see the opponent. But I feel like it wasn't as bad because, you know, he's not as like wide as Blackbeard is, but it was still a bit of an issue. Nothing too unreasonable. So yeah, I think that's about it. Sorry if it's a bit long. I overall had a lot of fun playing Jump Force. I probably did enjoy the Soul Calibur 6 beta a little bit more, just because, you know, I guess I hate saying it, but I guess just because I was able to win a bit more. But it was more so just, I guess, a comfort level, and it didn't feel quite as, I guess, you know, that doesn't feel quite as janky. That was also harder to find an opponent. You know, Jump Force was a freaking snap, and I found someone. I'm really looking for. I feel like this is kind of, you know, I was always excited for this game, but I feel like this actually is maybe even more exciting. I was really happy I got in a closed beta, especially after missing out on New York Comic Con. In a way, this was kind of better because I kind of just play the game as much as I want without waiting a long line, and then like play like one round. Definitely, I'm looking forward to more character reveals and just more news on the game, and maybe even playing an open beta so everyone can try it out with more characters. But I think that's about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did you get to play the closed beta? What did you think of it? If you did not get to play it and you wanted to, I'm so sorry you didn't get into it. I was actually kind of surprised that I was able to play it, you know, kind of in my I was on vacation. I was out for, thankfully, the timing worked out perfectly, and I was able to get some playtime in during, multiple sessions. But and like the video if you like it, dislike if you dislike it. It's a free country. Don't forget to check out my friend Mark Union in the description below. Let's even just get this video to, I'm gonna say 50 likes. It's an anime video, and they don't get viewed that much on my channel. And if you haven't already, and you like some of my other videos, it'd be really cool if you subscribed. It would motivate me to keep making the videos, and it'll let you know when I release those videos. Granted, I will keep making the videos anyway, but there's always extra motivation, and any extra motivation is always good. As I always say, another time, another place, keep being awesome.